Looking at another element now of the marketing mix is promotion. So when we're thinking about selling a product, we need to know how to promote it, but we need to know what's appropriate for different businesses. So obviously, IKEA, which is a global business, is going to use different sales techniques and different promotional techniques to maybe a local business that breeds puppies, or somebody just selling their car locally and they've only got one of them. So we need to look at distinguishing between above the line and below the line promotion, because sometimes that's a definition question, and then appropriate methods of promotion for various businesses. We also need to know, I don't think it's on there, but the pros and cons of different methods of promotion. But this is quite straightforward. You probably already know about these. So promotion is aiming to communicate messages to your current and also potential customers. So it's aiming to inform them. Hopefully you can persuade them to buy your product, and even reassure purchasers after they've bought the product as well. That often takes place with very much luxury products, and it's through their branding that they do that. So the difference between above the line is these are all above the line methods, and it's using mass media. So it's usually going through another business to get to your customers. So if you are advertising using newspapers or radio, television, you need to go through those companies, the television company, the newspaper, the radio business, to be able to put your advert on there. Whereas below the line, also known as direct promotion or direct advertising, is going sort of straight to the customer without the use of mass media. So direct mailing, exhibitions, trade fairs, sponsorship, promotions, merchandising, personal selling, public relations, those types of things. So I'm not going to read through all of this for you, but you can pause it and make some notes to see if you agree or disagree. But TV, I'll just pick out some of the important points. TV reaches so many people, really, really wide audience. If we think about Britain's Got Talent, but it's also very expensive. So you are going to need a lot of marketing budget money to be able to do this. And you're also going to need to be able to put together something professional that's very persuasive, and these adverts often cost lots of money to put them together. Newspapers, I suppose, reach, depending on what type of newspaper. You could just take out an ad in a local newspaper and it will be a lot cheaper, but newspaper readership is certainly declining. So the audience that you get is getting less and less each year from that. But you could target certain segments, maybe geographical segments based on local newspapers, maybe certain, if you're trying to target kind of business customers, maybe put an ad in the Financial Times. Radio, it's relatively cheap if you're using kind of local news, local radio stations, and often, this is how radio stations make their money, the local ones. So they often have lots of these marketing departments that will put together the ads for you, but it's also only sound, there's no visual on this, and the radio stations with the most listeners, which would be BBC radio stations, don't have advertisements on them. And the internet, you can target segments by targeting certain websites. So I'm thinking of banner ads, to be honest, with this. And sometimes they can be very enticing, but it is very easy to ignore those things. This is probably the cheapest method down here. Whereas below the line, direct mail or email, and it is relatively cheap, and it can be quite sophisticated these days with it's sort of, they add in your name and they might know something about you, and but it's all computerized. It's not someone sat there typing it out. But I have really good spam filters on my email, so it gets rid of most things that get sent to me. Exhibitions and trade fairs, this is really like B2B industrial marketing. So you're just selling to people that are particularly interested in that market. So you do have a captive audience, but obviously all your competitors are there as well. Sponsorship can be great because you get a lot of great coverage if the team you're sponsoring or the business you're sponsoring or TV program you're sponsoring is very, very popular, but you're also linked to that business's brand, and that's quite risky. Just thinking of like Kate Moss and Rimmel with the scandal with her and drug taking and things, and not great. Sales promotions such as buy one, get one free, 20% extra, very, very attractive to price sensitive customers, very attractive when the recession has been, when people are really feeling the strain and so they need those deals to entice them. But obviously there's a bit of an opportunity cost because there's the lost revenue to provide, buy one, get one free, giving something away for free. Personal selling, again, very much used for B2B, but not exclusively, and it's really good for using with complicated products, so maybe a new car, computer, those types of things. This video below links to the secrets of selling, so it's quite a nice video about sales promotions. But it's a really expensive way of promoting because you're employing someone to deal kind of one-to-one most of the time with customers. And the one I don't have on there is like merchandising, so that's kind of displays in stores and how they're setting up and their end aisles and those types of things as well. And there's a brilliant article called, if you type into Google, they have ways of making you buy. That is a really fantastic article all about merchandising. Social media, is it above the line or is it below the line? And you can argue it either way, to be honest. Yeah, it can be argued either way, to be honest. But that's not the important point. The important point is to talk about social media, because actually when your specification came out it wasn't such a big thing, but it really is now, and businesses have dedicated people working on looking after their social media sites. So don't forget to talk about things that you probably know a lot about. Okay, so explain the ways in which Kellogg's could effectively promote a new breakfast cereal. So obviously you'd want to recognise that this is a big company, they'll have a big marketing budget, they will be able to use TV and things like that. But just having knowledge of a range of different selling techniques, some nice points there that you could come up with. So that covers the specification.